Hello, how are you guys doing? Just so happens it's 1:05 in the morning and I'm supposed to be in bed because I have jury duty tomorrow, unfortunately. But I couldn't sleep, so I started doing my tarot and I came up with a really interesting message and I just thought I'd share it with you guys. So I pulled 3 cards from the Shapeshifter deck. So I think some of you guys either have like some shape shifting or some strange happenings going on. I think a lot of the people that are listening to me are in situations that they feel they can't always be themselves. They don't always feel comfortable. They don't always feel like they're fully at home in that situation. But, we're gonna get some healing messages. It's really interesting too because I bought this cute little turtle in Mexico for my son. His little head goes like that. Well, it's not doing it now, of course. Now that I want it to do it. Anyway, this turtle I bought, and I really don't talk to this turtle very much or have much to do with it, but for some reason it caught my eye on the dresser. I was like, okay, come here, little turtle. You're going to help me channel messages. So I put him over here. And so happens, the 3rd card I pull has a turtle coming out of it, out of its sort of, actually, its shell, coming out of its shell. And in this card, it represents the elders and knowledge from the elders. And it says that you will be channeling or getting information from elders, but it won't be like elders that you would see in the old times where like it's the chief and then in the tribe or whatever like that. But it will be people, spirits from the past of elders that once walked the earth. Weird, right? Weird coincidence. Anyway, so the first card that came out was Strange Companions in Stranger Places. And it says, challenges, question, use your imagination. So there's a lot of talking in this reading about using your imagination and being creative. And it talks about how these 2 characters are very famous, right? This is Alice in Wonderland, and this is and the 7 Dwarfs. Why cannot think of her name? And the 7 Dwarfs, that chick. Anyway, but both of their stories, they're just stories. But because they use their imagination, or whoever used their imagination to record their stories and share their stories with everyone, it's been very inspiring, uplifting, entertaining. And so there's some way in which, and they use their imagination to overcome the obstacles that they were facing. Alice in the Wonderland, she's down in the hole, she's trying to get back home or whatever she's trying to do, figure out where she's at. And there's a lot of imagination going on. She overcomes all her challenges. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I knew it would come to me. My brain works a little slower these days. Oh, wait, I need my magical wand when I talk. So, anyway, they're using their challenges, and they overcome them by using their imagination. So, some of them, and then one of the quotes that came out actually in there was by Albert Einstein, which is, imagination is more important than power. So I wrote it down on a card. I made my own card. Imagination is more important than power. So that just means that you can use, and you should use, your imagination to overcome obstacles in your life. So there's certain things that you're facing, or that certain people who are watching me feel like they're stuck and they feel like they have obstacles that they just don't have the tools to overcome, but you do have the tools to overcome them. You might just have to get creative. I think it was interesting too from this card because I was noticing, they had their like special pets to help them. So maybe your pet, spending time with your pet, and will give you some comfort, maybe some, just like you'll get some insights or downloads, because I do really believe animals are great they channel things. They're like spiritual conduits, or they're like little earth angels that help us to cheer us up and bring us messages when we need them, and insights. And maybe some strange companions. Maybe there's certain people in your life who it'd be like they're not your usual type of people you hang out with, or they're not like who people would, you might have to come out of your comfort zone and do some strange things that are out of the usual or out of your normal realm of how you think, right? And also go to some strange places you don't normally go. I don't know, anywhere. You could go like to a temple, you could go to an amusement park that you don't normally go to, or like a bookstore, just like a different coffee shop, maybe something like that to get you sort of out of your normal routine. And maybe you'll meet someone there that's a stranger to you that becomes a companion that helps you on to use your imagination more, to come up with ideas to help you overcome things that you're struggling with right now. Yeah, and so I don't know. And then there's like these mushrooms, eat me, magical mushrooms. I don't know. Maybe you could have like a spiritual journey on those. Who knows? But anyways, I don't know about the apples. But also, I have to say, this other message from that I got is that just be careful what you eat and who you receive food from. Because people can put, well, people do. You know how they say something tastes better if it's cooked with love? And then you're like, why is it I can follow the exact same recipe my grandmother uses to make something, but when I make it, it's not the same? And it's something to do with the way your grandmother puts her special love into it. So it's the same to be said for people who are trying to keep you stuck, or people who are trying to really exert power over you, control, or just like, people can put energy into food that can affect you greatly, okay, good or bad. So make sure the people that are preparing your food and things that you're taking from others, that it's something, that kind of energy is something you want to absorb in your body and something you want to become a part of you. Because believe it or not, eating people's food, people can put intentions, magic, love, whatever, hate, spells, they really can put that into food. It's very important. You have to open your eyes and think on a different level. Because a lot of people laugh when I tell them these things, but these things are really true. And a lot of people don't know, and it keeps them stuck, okay? So there's a warning here about food and eating. And the only reason I say it is because it's like, eat me. It's almost like a sign like, eat me, you will eat me. You know, almost like forced, you know? Like, who has a sign that says, eat me? You know what I mean? So it feels like there's some forcing going on, and people just need to be mindful. Or maybe if someone's being pressured also, one of you could be being pressured to maybe do drugs if you don't want to do them, or do mushrooms, or do something you don't want to do. There's just a message in there about being careful about food that people are giving you and offering to you. Okay, and the other thing that came up with that as a trigger is, even though I'm wrong, I struggle to apologize. So I think that all of us, me included, by the way, in all my videos, when I'm talking to myself too, because I have a lot of spiritual work that I'm doing, and I'm not perfect, and I struggle a lot because I have really bad temper because this red hair doesn't make it easy. So I say that to say that we all have to apologize when we're wrong. And I feel like a lot of us are struggling to apologize, and I believe there are people that you care about that are struggling to apologize to you. You know what's interesting about the Bible? I don't always talk about the Bible because it's a very, helpful book in some ways, but Jesus in there said, before you come to the temple and you make sacrifices to God and all that and pray, you should go always and amend things with the people you've hurt, and that you don't try to make amends with people before you come there. So maybe there's someone that you need to be making amends with, or someone who needs to make amends with you. But there is some kind of issue where you need to apologize, or someone needs to apologize to you, okay? And manifestation is magical. Make it work in your favor. So I feel like if you apologize to those people that you need to apologize, that will help with your manifestation, which means you'll be able to bring things more easily to you. It will increase your finances. It will increase your joy, your happiness, things like that. I think more things will go in your favor, okay? Okay, so then the hedgehog love came up to next, which is positive, uplifting new friends. So what's interesting about the hedgehog and the turtle is both of those animals, when they feel threatened, they pull inside, and the hedgehog is very prickly on the outside. So I think there's someone in your life who actually is very kind, tender, sweet, and cuddly, but when they get triggered, they pull in and turn into a prickly pear. You know what I'm saying? And it's also a way to protect yourself, right? Because like if they have, and they also kind of just look like a little plant or something out. So it also kind of camouflages them in a way to fit in. But also this card was talking about finding positive new friends. So you need to surround yourself with more positive friends, and I feel like there's new people coming into your life that are going to be there for a long time, and I believe they're going to be more loyal than the people you've had in your past. So whatever you do, remember that you can always make new friends. You can always start a new love. You can always start over. Okay, you can't let your past scare you from starting over again. You can't pull in the hedgehog and put your prickly side out. You have to have your loving, happy side. And this card also talked about, because I wrote these little notes down here, that right now I really do think you're making friends and connections, and these people are going to be more loyal, and I think they're going to stay in your life eternally, meaning even in other lifetimes, okay? And I think this card is trying to tell me today that you're going to have more positive experiences with lovers, friends, and even family that you can try to make amends with. Now, I'm not telling you to continually go back to toxic people, even in your family, but you can still forgive them, make amends. It does not mean you have to spend time with them and plan a 3-hour tour or something, and get stranded on an island with them. But it means that you can forgive those people, you can make amends with them, and you can also, you can love someone from afar if that person is toxic, okay? So, and then it talked about Sedna came up, actually, and Sedna is kind of like a goddess of the sea. I don't really know fully the story on this chick, but I know that she's like the one who gave birth, supposedly according to legend, all sea animals. But she came out of a struggle. She came out of pain, a painful situation, Sedna did. And, part of her journey is she was a victim. So she was victimized and she felt like a victim, but she took all that pain and all that victimhood and she turned it into something spiritual, and she gave birth to the sea creatures. So she, she turned her pain into power. And that's basically what you're being told to do. Whatever painful situations you're feeling, whatever betrayals, anger, people who are going out of their way to manipulate and do really nasty things and to try to poke the bear, you're being asked to turn that pain into something powerful, like she did, like Sedna did. And she gave birth to all the sea creatures, and think of all the beautiful sea creatures we have, because Sedna didn't give up. She didn't say, oh, I'm not going to love again, I'm not going to create, I'm going to be angry and I'm going to be a victim. She chose to put her feelings of being victimized away and to transform them and turn them into something. You can take, and that goes back to taking lemons and turning them into lemonade. You can always make something good out of a bad situation. So that was that message. And choose to be where you are nourished with kinship. So that was kind of part of this, because the hedgehogs took her in, and although she's very different than the hedgehogs, you see, she's not like them, but she felt nourished. She feels nourished around them. And so she's befriending them, even though they're different from her, and she's learning from them and they're learning from her. And she's healing deeply. So I really believe right now you are going through a deep healing, even though you don't realize it, and you may not feel like you're being healed, but you are being healed, okay? Your spirit is you're finding the people to surround yourself like you're to find true kinship with in your spiritual journey right now. I feel like there could be someone in your life who's asking you to be who you are not, to act like you do not normally act, okay? So I wrote, someone is asking you not to be like your true self. There are people in your life that are asking you not to be like your true self. And Spirit, your creator, wants you to ask yourself, is this who I really am? Is this who I really, on a soul, spiritual level, am I this person? And if that's not truly who you are, don't allow other people, like I said, peer pressure, that's kind of like this card right here, eat me. Don't allow other people to force you to do things you don't want to do and that are not really who you truly are. Okay? Because you're healing deeply, and you're healing from these people who have asked you to give up your true, authentic self. Okay? Rediscover your dreams and abilities, those that you put away. So what parts of yourself have you put away to please other people? What parts of yourself, what dreams, what things have you really wanted to do, but you put it away because you're taking care of other people, because you're trying to please other people, because you're trying to make things work and doing things that really aren't serving you? That's what the elders are going to help you. These elders, our turtle friend. Isn't he a cute little turtle? Now he's going to do the head thing. Well, anywho, the mermaid, I'm kind of like a mermaid, and this turtle are going to teach you, the elders. And it said in the card, I don't like to read the book. I know a lot of readers do that. I just don't like that, so I'm not downing anyone who does read. It's just, I read like little notes, but I don't like the long reading for me personally, so I don't do that. But it doesn't mean I didn't read it before. And when I do want to like read the book and go with that kind of thing, I usually just read it and make little quick notes. So if you're wondering why that is, that's just me. I think every reader should do their channel the way they want to do it. You know, I watch YouTube and people are always like, do this, don't do this, and why. I don't care what anyone else does on their channel. I still respect all those readers. It's just not my style. You know what I'm saying? So we all have our style. But this card about the elders and the turtle is talking about how you're going to transform your pain, because elders are going to come, like spirits who are going to give you enlightenment in different ways. Like you're going to hear something on TV, or you're going to read something, or your friend just going to, a stranger, people, strange companions in strange places are going to inspire you to get the information you need to make this big transformation, okay? And they're going to help you to use your imagination and be creative to overcome the obstacles. And you're going to start seeing things in a different way. You're going to, all of a sudden, the light bulb's going to come on, and you're going to be like, I'm not stuck. This isn't an obstacle. I can overcome this. You're going to get a whole new outlook and energy that's going to just flush through you, right? So, You're going to create a new reality for yourself. The elders are going to help you, and maybe the mermaids too. If you go by water, Sedna's in the water too. So it's really strange how these things came together. Because like I said, I walked by the dresser and I was like, come here, little turtle. You're going to come over here. You're cute and you're going to help me. All this. And then the turtle came out. And then Sedna, the mermaid, was mentioned in this card. And then the hedgehogs and all these cute little animals and mushrooms and apples. I don't know. Maybe you should eat an apple a day to keep the doctor away. But not any poisonous ones or anyone that someone who hates you gives you. Don't get the apple from the witch. Okay? Avoid the witch apples. But you're going to rediscover your dreams and your abilities. And you are going to create a new reality, which is one that is your true reality. And it's going to be a reality of peace, success, joy, and love. Okay? So remember, imagination is more important than power. And then laughter came up. So it's interesting about this card because it says laughter is the sunshine which dissolves the darkness. So be merry, joyous, and fun-filled, right? So it was just talking about that angels can fly and they're so light because they don't take life. They take the light side of life. They live in the light and they always are just light and not so heavy and burdened, okay? Put your burdens down, laugh more, and find humor in everything. Laughter is very, very, very healing and it burns lots of calories. It helps to work the tummy. So that's an extra benefit, right? And so when you laugh and relax, the angels can actually give you more knowledge and messages because you're more open, because they're light. So laugh and relax more. Take deep breaths in and try to lighten your load. Be light like the angels are, okay? And be in the light. And it says the angels can drop suggestions and creative ideas when you're laughing, which is what this card was talking about, using your imagination to overcome things. So it's kind of interesting. And then the curiosity card came up. And it said, see life through curious eyes of a child and you'll discover a never-ending source of happiness and excitement. So be light. Be childlike. If you have to, go to the toy store and buy a toy. I bought this magical wand. It was so fun. I'm going to tell you, there was this cute little My Little Pony set next to it that I really wanted to buy because I loved My Little Ponies when I was a little girl. Loved. I had the whole castle and everything. I even named one of my cats after Pinkie Pie. But anywho, do things like that. Go to the toy store, buy a toy, have fun, play with your children. If you don't have children, play with your animals. Do something to be in childlike energy. Laugh, be light, okay? Be interested in people and you'll discover eternal source of fascination. So take more interest in the people around you and your radiance will increase and your happiness is going to illuminate things for you and show you your divine plan. Okay? So then another trigger card. When I don't feel good enough, I make excuses for everything. So stop making excuses. And when you notice yourself making excuses, realize that's a time when you're not feeling good enough. Because if you felt good enough, you wouldn't feel the need to make an excuse. So that's a time to reflect and use your imagination and say, why am I making this excuse? Why do I not feel good enough right now? What can I do differently? How can I change how I feel right now? Okay? And to help yourself lighten your load or when you're feeling heavy, text a friend and let them know you're thinking of them. Text someone. Tell them how you feel, even if it's just like, hey, I'm thinking of you, hope you're doing well. That can lift your spirits and help you to connect to those around you, okay? And we talked about that one already. Okay, then I can act resentful and distance myself from people for months without addressing the issue. So try not to stonewall people and just, pull away and not address the issue. Because that's another thing. When you act resentful, it just keeps you stuck. It's better to address the issue, talk about it, even if it has to be an intense conversation. I think a lot of people nowadays have gotten to the point with everything going on in our world and stuff like that. People are afraid of conflict. And sometimes it's just better to talk about it and say, hey, this is my issue. This is how I feel. This is what I think. Even if it has to be raised voices and some cuss words or whatever else, it's better than just being resentful and stewing, in your own misery and anger, rather than getting it out and dealing with that issue and talking about it, even if you have to get out of your comfort zone with someone. Okay, and then when I'm angry, my immediate response is to get even. So remember, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Why? Because God, you know why? I'll tell you, this is my personal opinion. I mean, I'm not God, so I don't really know, but this is what I believe. The reason vengeance is mine, says the Lord, is because God knows everything, and we only know what God allows us to know. And so we don't see the big picture. We don't know what that person's going through, thinking. We don't know what happened in their childhood. We don't know a lot of really sad details. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know what happened in the past life or these things, or how maybe in the past life the roles were reversed and there's a spiritual lesson that we're all learning. And God knows all that, which is why He decides. Because God is bigger and He sees the bigger picture of our souls and our spirits and what we really need. He knows the right amount of vengeance that's needed, which is like karma to get people. Karma is not to punish you, by the way. Karma is to show you the error of your ways and to teach you to get out of cycles that are not serving you, that are only hurting you. Do you understand? People think karma is like this big bad devil. It's just getting back what you put out, sometimes in a different way, but so that you learn the lesson. And until you do, you're going to repeat it. So if it's kind of like, do you want to repeat third grade 10 times? Probably not. But you will till you learn. But you don't know what other people are going through or what they've been through. So I know it's easy to judge and get angry and cuss people out. But you have to remember, we're all growing and evolving. So getting even is not the answer, even though you really want to. Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Instead, smile. Don't get even. Smile. Your beauty radiates that way. Your beauty radiates so much more when you're smiling instead of when you're like, don't do that. Smile. See how much more beautiful I look when I smile? Okay, so the next time you're angry and you want to get even, just try to stop. Try to go watch something funny, read a joke online, put your smile back on, get curious about the people around you. Joy is the ultimate creator. So how can you be imaginative? How can you create great things? Start being joyful. What makes you joyful? If it's baking, bake. If it's doing lawn work, do lawn work. If it's painting, paint. If it's volunteering, volunteer. If it's watching football, I guess watch football, but I don't know. Yes, whatever makes you joyful. Okay, that was bad. Yes, anything that makes you happy and joyful, do that. Okay? Yes, if it's, just get out of that grumpy energy. Kind of like the Grinch. He hated the people who only wanted to ruin their Christmas. But yeah, he at the same time was kind of intrigued by it. Do that, try not to. And then when you see other people joyful and being happy, please work hard not to be the person who robs and steals other people's joy. You know what I mean? Try not to be the person stealing being Grinching people out, even when it's not Christmas time. All right. So stress management came up. So I think that's another thing is like try to find ways to manage your stress better. And if you don't know ways to manage stress, I know the card came about massage on here, but I didn't pull it out all the way because I had so many cards, but it talked about massage. So it could be time for you guys to get a massage, or the person that you love or someone involved in your life, if you notice they're under enormous stress, suggest that they get a massage, or you can give them a massage if you want to massage their feet or their shoulders for 5 minutes. Great way. Also, of course, exercise, walk, go in nature, take a nice bath, a long bubble bath, drink wine, or, have a couple of cocktails. Alcohol is one of those things where it is a stress reliever as long as you don't go overboard. If you know you're somebody who can't drink because you go overboard and then it becomes stressful, don't do that. Everyone reacts differently to things. The things that help me with stress may not help you with stress, right? So figure out that. And if you can't think of any ways, Google it. I promise you it'll be like 1,000,001 things you can do. Journal. Some people sunbathing helps. Some people moon gazing helps. Like I can't be in the sun, so I can't go to the beach and do all that. But everyone has their own way to manage stress and stay where they're laughing and they're happy and they're more joyful. Open your heart to the highest expression of love. You cute little shit. This is from the Effort deck. And so, yeah, open your heart to the highest expression of love. And so, you know how they say, like, the Grinch's heart grew like 5 sizes or whatever. I forgot why he all of a sudden got inspired to be nice. But anyway, it was something about he got into the love energy. He opened his heart to love. He healed his childhood wounds because I think he had some really traumatic things happen in his childhood. And yeah, because see, this card came out too. Anxiety is causing a lack of confidence. Believe in yourself. You are effing amazing. Oh, awesome. You are effing awesome. The A words. Yeah, so yeah, there's some anxiety going on. I feel like there's some obstacles that you're having a hard time overcoming. Use your imagination. Call on your spiritual elders. I think spending time with turtles or looking at turtles could help. They're very ancient animals. They live to be very long. If you want to ever outlive a pet, get a turtle. I mean, like a tortoise. Not a turtle, but you know what I'm saying. But there's something to do with the protective thing too, because both of these animals, like I said, that came out on both cards, can go into their protective mode when they're feeling, stressed and they're not feeling comfortable and they're not feeling happy in their environment. So it's time to change things up. It's time, if you're not happy in your environment, you need to start working with the people around you, telling them how you feel, getting help, go to therapy, whatever you have to do with that person and those people. And if you realize you cannot be around those people because those people are not willing to get into the stress-free, joyful, laughing, putting a smile on their face, not getting vengeance, not being vindictive. If they're not willing to do that, then it's time to change your environment, especially in 2023. These are the other cards. I'm almost done, and this is so long. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. So I don't care how bad your life seems. I don't care how stuck you feel. I don't care how many burdens you're carrying. You can always surrender to love, and it will guide you back, okay? It's powerful. Get the powerful presence of love back in, especially in 2023. And if you don't know how, start with prayer, contemplation, sit still, put on some healing music, and just let the divine speak to you. Let the divine surround you with love. Ask. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. Instead of praying for it, and this is the best message for the whole entire reading, and that is, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. It reminds me of that movie, Indecent Proposal. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but anyway, in the very end, Woody Harrelson. I forget who he's telling, but he's telling someone, you know, because he broke up with Demi Moore and they were so in love, and it was a third party situation. But in the end, he said, you know, I realized that I was healing and I realized how much I loved her because I could actually pray for her happiness and really want her happiness. And if it meant not being with me, I still loved her enough that I want to let her go and let her be happy. And that's spiritually ascending. That's spiritually ascending and saying, you know, instead of praying for my outcome and my selfish desires, I'm praying for the highest good of all people. And sometimes that means not being with certain people. It means letting go of certain people, places, things. Right? So we sometimes pray, God, give me this, God, give me that, God. And you can do that. But at the end, what does the Lord's Prayer say? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So you can say, God, this is what I want, but I'm going to surrender for the highest good of all. Because that's what true spirituality is wanting everyone to find their happiness, their joy, their peace, and to make their life beautiful as we all work together and as we all follow the will of our Creator. Okay, last card, I promise. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. Okay, so remember, there's always more to surrender. Sometimes you think I've surrendered. There's always more surrendering to do. Always surrender to the will of God, to your Creator. He loves you. Bible says that He knows every hair on your head is numbered. He knew you in your mother's womb. It also says to cast your cares upon Him because He cares for you. And more importantly, it says if God cares about the sparrows and how they eat and what happens to the birds of the fields, think how much more He cares about you. Okay? So when you think you've surrendered, surrender more. That's the message. I hope you guys liked it. I have to go to bed. I gotta go to jury duty. I hope they don't pick me. Surely, to goodness gracious, they're not gonna put me on a jury. Let's hope and pray. All right, I love you guys. Bye. Sleep well or wake up well. I don't know what time you're watching this. All right, take care, guys. Bye.